I gave Allen Iverson James Harden's entire career, every team, every era, and every chance. And what followed was one of the wildest timelines you'll ever see. Now before we get into it, if you like the video, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get it. Starting things off in Oklahoma, whilst not being the first or second option, AI still put up 14 points, 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Obviously with the help of KD and Russell Westbrook, they led OKC to a 49-33 record, which placed them third in the West. Whilst they showed a lot of promise as a young core of KD, Russell Westbrook and Allen Iverson, all under 22 years old, when it came to the playoffs, their lack of experience showed in the second round where they lose in 5 games to the Los Angeles Lakers, which had Kobe and Pau Gasol, so that's understandable. Now moving on to his second season, whilst he's still coming off the bench, he was given slightly more minutes and a better role, which led to his numbers getting better as he averaged 16 points, 3.5 rebounds and 4 assists. And one very big noticeable improvement, which was his 3-point shooting, going from 33% in his rookie season to a 39% in his second season, which is a massive improvement. However, there was a massive regression for OKC in general as they dropped down to the 7th seed in their second season together, which is a massive regression, as I said. And that was heavily indicated in their playoff run as they were a first-round exit to the San Antonio Spurs, losing in 5 games. Allen Iverson's third and last season in OKC was very similar to James Harden's in terms of numbers and record. Whilst AI was a slightly better scorer at 19 points, they both averaged 4 rebounds and 4 assists, and for the second year in a row, AI's 3-point shooting keeps getting better at 42% in his third year. In season 3, OKC is back to their winning column and back to the top as the second seed in the West with 59 wins and 23 losses, and that was further displayed in the playoffs as they dominated the competition in the West, sweeping the Rockets in the first round, sweeping the Spurs in the second round, and then beating Kobe's Lakers in 6 games in the Western Conference Finals, which led AI to his first NBA Finals, the first major shift in this timeline where OKC took down the Heat in 6 to become NBA champions. Of course, KD is your Finals MVP. AI now moves to the Houston Rockets as James Harden does in real life, and to put it into perspective, he did exactly what James Harden did with the Houston Rockets in his first season, as he led his team to a 44-win season. AI of course did his thing as the #1 option, leading the Rockets in scoring with 22 points, whilst shooting the ball extremely efficiently. Unfortunately, this Houston Rockets roster was really weak for the playoffs as they lose in the first round to the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games. To be exactly honest, that roster was not ready for the playoffs as it had nothing outside of Allen Iverson. Perhaps that will be different next season with Dwight Howard. And as previously mentioned, the Houston Rockets with the addition of Dwight Howard looked playoff ready as they finished the season with a 55-27 record, placing them third in the West. Now moving on to Allen Iverson himself, he averaged a whopping 27 points, 4 rebounds and 6 assists, whilst finally being named as an All-NBA second team player. This team's dominance carried on straight into the playoffs as, although it was very difficult to get through the Golden State Warriors, they managed to beat them in 6 games, in which AI moves on to his first Western Conference Finals appearance as a Rocket, taking on his former teammates in KD and Russell Westbrook's OKC. And although they put up a fight, they lost in 6 games and get eliminated in the Western Conference Finals. In the 2014-15 season, with the addition of noticeable role players and supporting cast, the Houston Rockets snagged the second seed in the West with a 56-26 record. In terms of Allen Iverson's production, he practically had the exact same season, 26.5 points, 3 rebounds and 6 assists, leading the Houston Rockets as the #1 option. It seems as the 2014-15 season was the exact replication of the 2013-14 season, as Allen Iverson and his Houston Rockets advanced all the way to the Western Conference Finals, where this time they take on the well-known dynasty at this point at the start of their prime, the Golden State Warriors, and they fall down in 6 games, just like they did with OKC. And as I mentioned earlier, it felt like the exact replication of last season. In the 2015-16 season, Allen Iverson finally broke out as a superstar for the Rockets, averaging an insane 33 points, 5 rebounds and 7 assists at just 26 years old. He finished second in MVP voting behind Russell Westbrook and earned himself a spot on the All-NBA first team. This was further implied as he led his team to the 4th seed in a stacked West behind OKC, Golden State, and the San Antonio Spurs. In this year's playoffs, Houston unfortunately fell short in the second round against the top-seeded Spurs. After a back-to-back trip to the Western Conference Finals, this felt like a step back for Allen Iverson. Now moving on to the 2016-17 season, Allen Iverson makes his 3rd All-NBA selection in a row, averaging a whopping 29.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 7.5 assists, leading his team to a 56-26 record, which placed them third in the West, very similar to what James Harden did in real life. Now for the big moment of the 2017 playoffs, Allen Iverson finally got his revenge on the Spurs from the previous year, dominating them in the second round, then edging out the Nuggets in a gritty 7-game battle in the conference finals to punch his first ticket to the NBA Finals as a Houston Rocket. And in the NBA Finals, the series was a back and forth war. The Rockets took game 1, then the Cavs responded with 2 straight, then the Rockets answered back in game 4. Cleveland stole game 5, but Houston forced a game 7 with a clutch win in game 6. And in that final game, Allen Iverson delivered a masterpiece, a 40-point explosion as the Rockets dominated to win the championship. He capped it off with a well-deserved Finals MVP, averaging 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists on the biggest stage versus the best players. And now, as expected, Chris Paul finally joins the Rockets. Could this be the perfect piece for AI just like it was for Harden? Oh, and yeah, he's not wearing number 3. Iverson made that real clear. And CP sure lived up to the hype, earning an All-NBA First Team honors, averaging All-NBA First Team numbers 24, 7, and 10, whilst on the other hand, Iverson made the third team. This duo was locked in, and Allen Iverson averaged 26 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists. These two led the Houston Rockets to the number 1 seed in the West, with a whopping 63 wins and 19 losses. And that dominance carried on into the playoffs as they cruised back to the Western Conference Finals, only to meet Steph Curry and his Warriors. And after a long-fought 7-game battle, it all came down to one shot, and Steph Curry buried the dagger in Game 7, sending the defending champs heartbroken. The moment had finally come. In 2018-19, Iverson dominated the league like never before, claiming his first ever long-awaited MVP whilst averaging 33 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists, doing so whilst joining the exclusive 50-40-90 club. This was his breakthrough season. Meanwhile, his partner in crime, Chris Paul, continued to shine with a stellar 21 points and 9 assists per game. They led Houston to a 58-24 record, which placed them second in the West. And now, it's playoff time. This all-time backcourt was on another level. They dominated the playoffs with ease, cruising back to the Western Conference Finals. This time, there was no dynasty waiting. Jokic and his Nuggets were not ready for Iverson and CP. The Rockets swept through in just 5 games, booking their ticket to the finals for the second time in 3 years. And for that claimed NBA Finals ticket, well, it was against the Philadelphia 76ers. Allen Iverson was unstoppable. Throughout that finals run, averaging 40 points and 11 assists, crushed Philly's hopes as Houston dominated the series in just 5 games. Iverson sealed his second championship and Finals MVP as a Rocket, joining a select few in NBA history to win both the regular season MVP and the Finals MVP with the same franchise in the same season. A new year, a new spark. Russell Westbrook joins the squad, the Brody. Now teaming up with Iverson comes with sky-high expectations. Can this duo click? And will the defending champs keep their crown? The season felt off from the start, despite Iverson averaging 30 and Russ putting up a 27-point triple-double. The Rockets limped into the playoffs as the 6th seed. In a stunning collapse, they fell in 6 games to the Utah Jazz in the second round of the playoffs, a bitter, tragic ending to a season that was supposed to be another step forward towards greatness. A new era begins. After carving out a legendary career in Houston, Iverson lands in Brooklyn. And he's not coming alone. Joining forces with Kyrie and KD, this legendary trio isn't here to just compete. These guys are here to take over. The jersey might be new, but the goal remains the same, an NBA championship. The two greatest dribblers in NBA history on the same team, and one of the top 3 scorers the game has ever seen right beside them in KD? Yeah, the league is finished. We all remember how the original Nets trio barely got a chance. But in this universe, these 3 are as healthy as it gets, and the results were terrifying. Iverson, Kyrie, and KD absolutely annihilated the league, storming to a legendary 70-12 record. All 3 of them averaged 23 a game, while both Iverson and Durant finished top 3 in MVP voting. There was absolutely nothing anyone can do. The Nets stormed through the playoffs with a jaw-dropping dominance, dropping just 1 game to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals before sweeping the Nuggets in the finals. Complete embarrassment, a 16-1 run. It felt like the fate was sealed before the playoffs even begun. KD took home the Finals MVP, but make no mistake, the whole league took the loss. Another new chapter begins. Iverson is now in Philly. Can they rise to the same greatness as the Nets did the previous year? And they absolutely can't. They just couldn't do it. They didn't get it done. 2 years, 2 second round exits, both exits at the hands of Trae Young and the Hawks. 2 years back to back, they got sent home by Trae Young. Philly's curse stays alive, and breaking through just wasn't in their cards. A second round exit is what they got labeled. And I'm not here to blame AI, you got his both seasons. Somebody else's process just didn't work. And of course, after Philly's experiment collapsed, the next move was inevitable. Iverson takes his talent to LA and joined forces with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, as we all know. And this time, things actually clicked. They finished 4th in the West, with AI leading the charge at 20 points per game, followed by Kawhi's 19 and PG's 18. And on paper, the team looked really good. However, in the first round of the playoffs, they battled through a tough 7-game war against Jokic and his Nuggets to advance, and after a long first-round series, the Mavericks absolutely embarrassed and dismantled the Clippers in a sweep. The 2024-25 season looked even worse. The Clippers slipped into the 6th seed, fighting for their life to not get into the play-in, and despite Iverson averaging 27 and 6, the team fell apart when it mattered the most. This time, they didn't even make it past the first round, getting bounced out by Anthony Edwards and his Timberwolves. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. Since that last ring for AI in Brooklyn, it's been nothing but frustration. 2 failed runs in Philly, and now another 2 collapses in LA. 2025-26, Iverson's final ride. They're calling it a retirement home over here in LA. Kawhi, AI, Lopez, CP, Beal, a lot of players that are old. But for Iverson, reunited with CP, it's one last shot at glory. Reunited for one final run. Can these OGs defy time and chase one more ring? The OGs gave it their all. A 50-win season. The first round brought us the Battle of LA. And this team of hungry vets saw nothing but red, pushing through in 6 games. They shocked the league by taking down the league MVP and his Lakers, whilst also ruining LeBron's final dance, only to face the defending champs, OKC, next. It wasn't much of a competition. A young, relentless OKC team versus a team of aging vets on one knee. Who do you think wins that 7-game series? OKC took care of business in 5 games, and the vets in LA couldn't really do anything. 4 years, 3 second-round exits, and 1 first-round exit for AI. Definitely not the ending to his career he dreamed of. From 09 to 26, a 17-year journey written in greatness. Iverson walks away a first-ballot Hall of Famer, a league MVP in 2019, a 4-time NBA champion, a 2-time Finals MVP, titles in OKC, Houston, and Brooklyn, multiple All-NBA selections, multiple All-Star appearances, and several scoring titles. Iverson's legacy is forever. This really could have been Harden, but reality had other plans. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this masterpiece. Easily my hardest video to produce. Days of recording, editing, writing, and putting it all together just for you guys to enjoy. If you want to show me some love, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and stay faithful. Peace.